as we're getting started this morning. All these amazing souls jumping on this morning. We got that there. There it is over on YouTube. Make sure that's muted. All right. Hey, good morning, Misfits. It is Monday, the 23rd of September. Appreciate you all being here. Blessings on you all. Prayers of safety and health and all good being with you. Go ahead and send out your three messages. Send out your three messages of joy, of gratitude, of appreciation. I think that would be great. Send out 4 or 5 or more. Send out as many as you can. Good morning, everybody. And let's see here. Let's do that. We got that fixed. Yeah, there's lots of things happening, as you all are aware of. I've been blessed. I get to do business on a global scale. So there's a lot of interesting perspectives happening right now. Concerns, fears, some amazing positive things happening. I think it's a time of, I want to say extremes, but when I say that, I mean, it's just bringing out the best in people, right? Some people are the best at being quite peculiar. We'll just say it that way. Some have the best at just being amazing. So a couple of things I was going through yesterday. I was sitting in meditation and reviewing stuff. I just ask you. I'm going to ask you some questions again. That seems to be something my mind loves to be able to circle around with. Is a lot of questions. So the things I'll have for you here. Right now, there's a lot of questions going on. People are doing their best to figure out, why is this happening to me? What's happening to me? What can I do with what's happening to me? So here's my question for you. What critic are you looking to keep happy? What critic are you wanting to keep quiet? Now, this could be the one inside your own head. This could be the one that's that old story. What does it say about you? What do you say about it? I wish I wouldn't talk to myself that way. I wish I this. Why do I say that? I'm just so stupid, right? You're an idiot, right? Sometimes we say that, we even speak in the third person, second person to ourselves. What's that critic you're looking to keep quiet? And then what does that critic serve you by being there? What is your everything? Sometimes you'll hear parents talk about this. They'll talk about their children. They'll say, "You're my everything." Are you doing something that is moving you towards your everything, that allows you to do your everything better, be with your everything more, sit with your desire? Where do you find refuge? In this time of incredible opportunity to just look at things differently, right? Change the way we look at things, and the things we look at change. Where do you find your refuge? Moms with who's head of households, dealing with the children, dealing with the work, dealing with all of the things, the stresses, the running the household, paying the bills, doing all of that stuff. All of the most absolutely incredible job in the world is a mom. And I say incredible of how you get everything done. Where do you find refuge? Where do you just go to sit and just be and not have to do? Do you find refuge in prayer? Do you find refuge in music, in reading, in something that you say, yes, I find refuge there, but you know how long it's been since I've done that? I would encourage you that you do it sooner rather than later. Go back to that place. And if you're not sure, I'd spend some time looking for it. What's a wedge in your life? What's that thing that's maybe pushing you between this and that? That wedge, that might be, what wedge has been removed in your life? I did a training call last night for the team down in Latin America. And it was about this moment in time. The conversation was, what I've experienced, people are looking for. The conversation was about, what is it that people are doing right now to try to keep themselves relevant, right? Most everybody that I've spoken to, where they report to work has been affected. Most people I've spoken to, the ability to report to work has been affected. So it's not a matter of if people are people are looking through the eyes of nervousness. That's a fact. What people are looking for is, where is the calm? Where's the confident? Where is the one with vision who can see things and help people become aware of what's going on? As we all enter into these totally uncharted territories, because every moment of every day is uncharted. It just so happens that we're allowed to live a routine on a regular basis that allows us to kind of recognize today and relate it to yesterday. That has changed drastically. I was listening to Sadhguru yesterday, and he said, if I'd have known, this is him speaking from the mystic standpoint, if I'd have known that a virus would have caused us all on a global scale, caused us the need to sit home and do nothing, he said, he says, what a great idea. He said, I'd have thought about that years ago, tried to figure out how to get one going. Now, of course, he said, the deaths are terrible. The people getting sick or ill are terrible. He said, but the idea of all of us needing to just stay home, and the fact that people are going a little stir crazy from staying home means there must not be peace at home. So this change that's happening and requiring people to be in the place that they call home drives some people stir crazy. Why? Well, because that's not where their income was. Right? People say, I wish I could just go on vacation. I wish I could just stay home. I wish I had, man, I just need a week to catch up on my sleep. Well, now that happens, but pandemonium is what replaces that idea. Why? What haven't we prepared for? What delays? Where do we get the margin in our life? What delays can happen that we're not used to? Right? If a train is late, if traffic backs us up, there's an accident on a bridge and you're on that bridge and you just can't go, you have to wait. You have to wait till it gets cleared. How long will it take the situation you're currently experiencing in your own mind, in your own space, in your own reality? How long till it gets cleared till you can start moving again? You start moving, right? What did Epictetus say? Right in the book, The Manual. Working within our sphere of control, we are naturally free, independent, and strong. It's the changes that are happening in the outside world that we were not acting in our sphere of our own independent sphere. And we weren't naturally free. We weren't naturally independent. We weren't naturally strong. So how do you, when you have conversations with people, when you start reaching out to people, when you start going through the contacts in your phone, and I'm talking about ones you don't recognize and ones you do recognize, if they're in your phone, they got there somehow. It's not somebody else's phone you picked up. If you're coming across somebody's name in your phone, you put them in there. Now, you may not remember who it is. You may not remember anything else about it. But if you go through your contact list and you start sending out those messages of, hey, listen, you were in my contacts. I just was checking to see how you're doing. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate you, Sean. Hey, listen, just checking in on you. Hope you're doing, and you could do a male version of that message and a female version of that message, depending upon who you're sending it to. And just start reaching out. And reach out with the intent to be a good human. Reach out with the desire to make space for joy in your life, right? When you if I send out a thank you, everybody. I sent it out. That makes room for more thank yous to come to me. You'll hear when I give people some tasks on the call, I'll say, how many thank yous did you say yesterday? And they'll say, a dozen. Great. Today do 100. Wow, 100. Yeah, 100. Overwhelming gratitude. Wouldn't that be great to have just a tremendous amount of gratitude in your life? Things to be grateful for. It's not hard with our contact base, our database, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Do a live. If you haven't done a live in a while, do a live. What are you doing? What are you doing to keep your sanity right now? What are you doing to to help others? What's a good story you've heard? I've shared some fun stories. I've shared some funny things I've seen. All right. Anybody experiencing something right now on the call? Anybody on the call experiencing something they might need a little extra prayer for right now, whether it be them, their family, something that's worrying them? If you need some prayers, just type a P in the chat and let us pray for you. Let us say a prayer for you. There's some pretty powerful people on here, some pretty connected folks on here. Jesse needs some. Look at the names there. What is prayer for? If we look at the act of it, prayer is to get us centered on something. Prayer is what we're asking for us, for somebody else, for our family. Prayer gets us focused. Miracles happen when people pray. Why is that? Because there's this unexpected knowing of the things that need to take place. Now, I'm going to ask you, in your prayer that you're currently looking for, think about this for just a second. In the prayer you're currently praying, can you ask for more? Are you asking to get back to even? Are you asking to just get back to normal? Can you ask for more? See, sometimes when we get into a state in life where all we got is prayer, it's not our last ditch effort, but boy, it's darn close. When we ask, we pray for guidance, we pray for something, we pray for just a little bit. If you could just get me to this. Look at the prayer that you're needing. Look at the prayer that you're saying, I hope somebody prays for me today for fill in the blank. Could you ask for more? Sometimes when we're in the stress of wanting, we don't want much. I don't want to ask for too much. This is prayer. Boy, you can get your prayer on. You can get your pray on. What would a little bit more look like? What would a little bit more sound like? This moment in time is a transfer of everything. That's why it's so chaotic. There's no more. There's no less. Everything is where it's supposed to be. It's just not where it's supposed to be. Everything we have is right where it's supposed to be. It's just not where we're used to it being. Right? The toilet paper that everybody stands in line for and gets wasn't at the store. It's at the store. And then you weren't normally in line at the store. So you weren't in that place you're supposed to be. And therefore you didn't get it. That's why people stand in line, because this is where I'm supposed to be if I want to get it. We call it a line. Everything is where it's supposed to be. It's just not where you're used to it being. So when you start your prayers, when you think of your current moment in time, are you choosing joy or are you choosing misery? Yeah, but Sean, you don't understand all of the things happening. I could never understand your moment in time. I can't. I can relate to it. I can do my best to kind of think about it, but I can't get your moment in time. You can't get my moment in time. But I can ask you, are you in joy in your moment? Or are you in misery? And the prayer you're asking for, is it to keep you, is it to make your misery lighter? Or is it to get you in complete joy? I mean, joy like the joyest of joys. Can you ask a little bigger? Is that making sense? I know sometimes when we feel that we are down, when we feel that we are questioning ourselves, boy, we don't want to make a scene. We don't want to make a fuss. If somebody's going to give us food, boy, just can you give me enough to eat today and maybe just a little bit more for tomorrow? What are you looking to feed yourself, your soul? Now, if we have all these questions, if we're going through all these conversations, what are the chances are that somebody you're sending these messages out of, hey, listen, I was just checking in on you. Hope you're doing well. What do you think when somebody receives that message? Do you think they might be in prayer? Do you think they might be needing some prayers answered? Do you think they might be needing some solutions in their life? Questions, comments, feelings, thoughts, emotions. If you want to ask a question, raise your hand. If you're dealing with some things that are doing the merry-go-round on you, oof, boy, this is okay. Oh my God, there it is again. Oh, this is okay. This is okay. Oh my gosh, there it is again. If you're doing the merry-go-round with some thoughts, what are those things? So if you want to ask a question or make a comment or share something, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll have a dialogue. What do you think? Listen to this one. What do you think what is the vision you think people have when they see you? What's the vision you think people have when they see you right now? Always, but more importantly, when you're not right, I've asked people to do this before. Go ask your audience, give me a word that describes me. I was challenged this morning to ask my community, if you were to describe me in a word, how would you describe me? And you'll be surprised, many women, when they ask that question, they get words back like confident, strong, creative, capable. And most of the times when I do this with my students, they'll say, how do they see that? And then we sit with each of those words. We sit with each of those words and we have a conversation about them. Because I can't see something that's not in you. Listen to what I said. I can't see something that's not in you. Natalie, what was the experience? Were you a little surprised with some of the words?
Hey, Sean. Good morning.
Good morning.
I guess you can say I was a little bit surprised. If anything, I was really happy with the responses that I got. To see how people view me as a person and who I am. And the one word that came up a lot, like I got it like 5 times from 5 different people, and it was the word grateful. So the fact that, other people can look at me and know that I'm always in such a state of gratitude just really warmed my heart and showed me that I'm doing something right when I'm, just being myself all the time with anybody.
So how would you describe, what word would you describe for you when you're in this state of gratitude or gratefulness?
You always get people's noggins going, don't you?
Because it's one thing for people to see you in that. That's the state. That's the state those five and
Mhm.
many others, those five. So here's the challenge. This is a pretty cool exercise. When you ask people to write that word down, see if we ask them to write the response in a blind response, meaning they only saw their response,
Mhm.
there's a chance you might hear more of a pattern. Everybody wants their uniqueness. Nobody wants to be the same for the most part. And so when those five wrote down the same, they either saw it and said, "Ooh, that's a good one." Chances are they didn't see it. If you look at where the responses come to you, whether they were all linked, whether they were all right together,
Mhm.
right? Or this one was there, that one was here, that one was down here, right in the scroll of the response. You can tell whether somebody looked at the rest of them to get their word for you.
Yeah, that's very true.
So now that you look at the response and you look at human nature and you see these gratitude or grateful placed throughout the conversation, then the question has to go, I wonder what state I was in that exuded that expression.
Mhm.
So if you go back and you look at those individuals that wrote those, if you know them well, or if you don't know them, what were the interactions that gave them that impression?
Well, all of them I know pretty well.
Okay.
All of them are people that I talk to pretty much on a daily basis.
So then the question is how do you act with them? What engagement with them allows them that expression while others used other words? See, there's a pattern there.
Mhm.
And that pattern is familiarity. That pattern is repetition. The pattern they get to see, the reason that they all came up with that same word is because they got to see more of you. How can you give more of you in that state of gratitude, in that state of gratefulness, that more people would see it with less time?
Mm.
Think about the actions that you do with these people you speak with on a regular basis, whether it be in a community call or individual call. But what is it that they see in you that made them say that? Is it
Right.
your spirit? Is it your actions? Is it your tone of word? Is it a smile? Is it the way you treat them? Is it what you say to them? See, there's a lot to these exercises I go through with my students, and when we just dive into them, and it's what's the first word that was said? What was the last word that was said? How many words were said? Wherein, if we were to draw the lines, where are they placed? And the reason we go through all of that is to see what kind of influence the other responses had. What kind of influence is your community having on the response to this question? Are some of the responses lemming-like, meaning one person jumps off the cliff, the rest are they say this about you, I'm gonna say this about you. I like that about you.
Right.
What about all the people who saw it and liked it and didn't respond?
Very true.
Hmm. And now the rest of the story.
This makes me want to do the exercise again, but
Do
like
it.
more
Do it.
um
Ask it in more detail. Say, help people tell people you're looking to get sharper. You're looking um, to see how you can best serve.
definitely. And see also why they chose that specific description for me, because it is true. They could have been saying it just because they saw other people saying it, or
Mhm.
what did they actually see in me that made them say that? So that makes me want to ask them.
Well, and this is how, again, who you are speaks so loud. I don't need to hear what you're saying. There's actions that you do that are unspoken that get that response.
Yeah, it's good. Well, I'm gonna go picking. I'll let somebody else talk. Thank you.
Awesome, Natalie. Thank you so much. This weekend, we took some people on some journeys of visualization, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, pretty neat stuff that happened this weekend on some of the calls. There's Michael. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning, family. How's everybody doing?
Outstanding.
I
You look like you're on the Death Star.
I know it's my lights in my basement. I moved everything down to my basement, so it's pretty cool because I get to do work down here. I wanted to share a crazy breakthrough I had yesterday.
Yeah, man.
And it was actually while reading the book Think and Grow Rich. So Sean, I took your advice and I started like studying this book. And I was on chapter 14. And like when I read it this time, I literally read each paragraph like 2 to 3 times before going on to the next. And I had like at least 6 breakthroughs during this chapter alone.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And it was, so this is like the one chapter, it's on the 6th sense. And I wanted to share this one quote with you because it hit me so hard. Like I actually spent 30 minutes writing about it. Like, so during like the 6th sense on chapter 14 in Think and Grow Rich, this is where Napoleon Hill, like, he imagined like the council of people, like all the mentors that he wanted in his life around him. Mm-hmm. And it was cool because I started doing this last night and this morning, which is really powerful. But do you mind if I read this quote to you?
Do it, brother.
Dissect it. All right. So Emerson said to Napoleon Hill, in his imagination, he said this. He said, "You are destined to witness the secret of life. When the time comes, you will observe that life consists of great swarms of energy or entities, each as intelligent as human beings think themselves to be. These units have differences of opinion, the same as human beings, and often fight among themselves. These meetings which you are conducting will be very helpful to you. They will bring to your rescue some of the same units of life which served as the members of your cabinet during their lives." So this next sentence I'm about to read was what hit me like a train. So he said, "These units are eternal. They never die. Your own thoughts and desires serve as the magnet which attracts units of life from the great ocean of life out there. Only the friendly units are attracted, the ones which harmonize with the nature of your desires." So that quote, right? That quote, when I read that, I started getting to thinking. And I remember he said that in this chapter that it was his imagination was so real. There was actually times he couldn't decipher if he was like imagining it or if it actually happened. And then it got me thinking, like, what if it is real? Like, what if, like, there was one time I heard Bob Proctor say that all spirits are everywhere and anywhere at the same time. Like, what if, like, when he's imagining Abe Lincoln, that, like, because, like, when you use your creative imagination and you attract, like, that idea and put it in your subconscious mind, and then you combine that with auto-suggestion, like, it actually stays. Like, what if he actually attracted, like, Abe Lincoln's energy, even though Abe Lincoln is dead? Like, all right, so this is going to sound crazy, but what if when everyone dies, like, I was thinking about this too after I read this chapter. What if when everyone dies, say they go to heaven and do their thing, like whatever, but what if their energy is still here? Like, what if because of the law of conservation of energy, that everyone's energy is still here, so that when you do think of this cabinet of mastermind, that you attract these crazy spirits that are like-minded, that attract to you, and then next thing you know, like, it's real. Does that sound crazy?
No, it's absolutely the most sane description of reality.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, oh my God, this sounds crazy. But then again, I was thinking, wait, this is the truth.
So where with me sitting here right now, where does my existence lie in you?
It literally feels like you're right here with me.
So then what would cause that to ever leave?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I believe, like, you're I'm not gonna lie, Sean, like, you're a part of my cabinet. Like, when I was thinking last night, I was like, all right, like, I actually had you to my left. I had Nino, if he's on this call, I had him with me, and I was chilling. I was like, all right, we're having a mastermind right now. It was pretty cool.
And so what happens is that energy always is, right? The same sun that warmed Caesar warms us. The same sun that warmed Jesus warms us. The same sun that warmed Buddha warms us. The same water that flows, you've probably drinking the water, the same water that actually went through the body of anybody. So the point is that all of this is absolutely true. The fact that where we are is only a place in time. Are we a spiritual being having a human experience? Are we a human having a spiritual experience?
I think we're a spiritual being having a human experience.
And that's your entitlement. That's exactly, it's how you see it. But all of this to say is that energy is. Where were we before this? And where will we be after this? We'll always just be. We just take on a different shape, different form. Science and religion say, science says we move out of form, into form, and back out of form. From in religion, we say from no thing, we come to this thing, and then we go back to no thing. It's the same thing. It's the theological words are different, but it's the same actions. From no place to a place to no place. So when you sit quietly with your mastermind, you still go to no place, but you bring the no place into form. You bring it into your basement, into your living room, into the car you're driving in. If you ever get flashes of insight, can you imagine how insane it was at the turn of the century, last century, to write in that language, to talk about the sixth sense, to talk about a boardroom full of people, of spirits? Now you know why the Conversations with the Devil, Outwitting the Devil, was never released, because that was a bridge too far for people to think of that. So absolutely, you have these breakthroughs.
Yeah, it was crazy. Can I say one last thing?
Sure.
So you said just now we go from no thing to one thing. Can you say that one more time?
So we come out of form, into form, back out of form.
Okay. So what
So
if
you weren't here before. Mom and dad did something. You show up, you die, you go back to someplace else.
What if that was to say, like, for example, I was thinking about this, say Kobe Bryant, when he died, like, I didn't think, like, obviously in the physical form he died, but I didn't think he left because everyone's still thinking about him. And like, I thought he was still here and everywhere. But what if you were to say that soon enough, he's just going to come back into form again? Like, his energy's still here.
Yeah, who says he hasn't already?
Yeah, that's pretty cool to think. I was going off on this thought for a while now.
Right? Well, think about the Dalai Lama. How do they find the Dalai Lama? They say somebody was chosen. You're the chosen one. And they go take these kids, whoever is considered to be the Dalai Lama, right? When this one transfers, that energy goes and comes back. And they say it can show up in somebody who's older, somebody who's a baby, and they take them away and they put them, right? So who's the chosen one? Are you the chosen one?
I hope.
Well, then what allows you to be the chosen one?
I guess it would be my decision on it.
It would be, well, remember you said, I never met Kobe. So for all intents and purposes, I've never seen Kobe play. I mean, I've probably seen him on TV, but I'm not watching TV. So what proof do I have he's gone other than what everybody else has told me? I have no proof he's gone. I have everybody's hearsay that he's gone. So if we die twice, the day they bury us, and then the last time they speak about us, is anybody dead? Can we bring somebody back to life? When I hear things that reminds me of my dad, doesn't my dad come back to life for me? My mom? My little brother who lived for 14 hours? All of these things, when we start to look at this, so if we're asking these questions, And in this time, you got to experience your boardroom because you were doing less, reading a book over and over and over. You were doing less. You weren't doing 17 other things, worrying about 101 other things, trying to solve 75 different situations. You were doing the one thing. And in the one thing, you had 6 breakthroughs. In the one chapter of reading paragraph over and paragraph over and paragraph over, you were doing almost the least possible thing you could do in this moment in history. And look at the more you became.
That's so true. It literally, my life changed, and I was like, I was just reading a chapter, and like how awesome that was.
And think of all of the free time that people have that they have lost their mind. They have lost their routine. They have lost their pattern. They have lost all of the things that was normal to them. There is now a new normal existing, and there will be a transition. There will be a righting of the ship. There will be a righting of reality. And some people will make it through and some won't. You made it through by going into your basement, reading a chapter 14 on the sixth sense, and your world is forever changed. How many people have access to that book? How many people could spend, what would be the total time you said you spent from the time you decided to sit down till these breakthroughs continually happen? Was it an hour? Was it 45 minutes? Was it half
It
a
was an
day?
hour reading, and it was an hour reading, and then 30 minutes writing about it.
So in under 2 hours, you had a lifetime breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't the rest of the world having the breakthrough? Because they're paying attention to the breakdown. And what's that thing you've heard me say? Many mentors will say, many teachers will say, when you're having a breakdown, prepare for the breakthrough. I'm being set up, right, for all of this greatness to come in, stacked together, stirred up, pushed down, overflowing. I would encourage you to write today about expressing it, about sharing it with us. What was that feeling? Where was that doubt? Because you said a couple of times, man, I don't know what's, if there was still there was a hesitant. I'm not saying doubt. There was a hesitation. And I don't know if you believe this, but here's what I've believed. That sounds crazy. You know how many times I've read chapter 14? To me, it's not crazy at all. And then what happens? Think about this. Now that you said that, if people have the book, they're going to jump to chapter 14 and read it and see if they got what you got. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But here's the thing. Now that you have had that experience, others who have it, you now vibrate with them at a different level. And this expression of your tribe creates your vibe. Imagine now if people like Gandhi and Abraham Lincoln and Mother Teresa and Henry Ford the first and J. Paul Getty are on your board. And you can have people who are past and people who are alive on your board. Because energy is everywhere. How does a cell phone know where you're at in the world to find you? How does it know when you're driving down the road at 60 miles an hour? How could you imagine the sound waves trying to keep up with you? Oh my gosh, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. No, they're everywhere always. So energy, are you always leaving energy or are you always going into energy? If you're on Wi-Fi right now, how am I getting to you? And then does it all get stored there? Does it just come in, get expressed and disappear and giving room for more? So when it gets expressed and disappears, as it disappears, does it stay stuck and you keep moving? Or do you stay through and it passes through?
That's what I'm saying. Like my mind is forever blown.
Congratulations on that. Oh, so here's a question. Did you stop? And I know you stopped and wrote. You transcribed your thoughts onto paper. But did you stop and turn down a drink, a cup of coffee, a glass of water? Did you have a toast to this awareness?
No, I did not.
I would encourage you to do that because you can still have it, because now you've just taken it to another level, whether it's a toast, whether it's a beverage, a hot coffee, whether it's something. But when you have celebrations, when you celebrate with your friends, with your crew, with your posse, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. When you celebrate with your friends, what is a form of celebration? Is it a drink? Is it a toast? You could make a ceremonial bagel and eat it with cream cheese. I don't know. But I would encourage you to create a moment of you. Congratulations on your transformation, right? When you're 16, we congratulate you. When you're 21, we congratulate you. When you reach an award, a rank in our profession, you get a certificate. I would create a certificate of awakening, and then I would write that one on it. Building my board. If you have a dream board somewhere that you've created in the past, look on it. Where did this end? What did this awakening answer on the dream board you were looking for? And if you don't have a dream board, then could be one that you start with. What could you do to make this better? Because here's the thing. You just stepped into the boardroom. And if you just stepped into your boardroom, guess what happens when you step in time after time after time with these sages? You no longer have to go through the introduction, do you? Hi, I'm Michael. Hi, I'm Abe Lincoln. Hi, I'm Michael. Hi, I'm Henry Ford. Hi, I'm Michael. Hi, I'm fill in the blank. Grant Cardone. Hi, I'm Michael. Hi, I'm. Once the introductions are over, imagine this group of individuals sitting at your boardroom doing away with the fluff. They come running in out of breath because they just left somebody else's boardroom. They come in out of breath and here and going, man, we got to just dive in, and we ain't got time for any niceties. Let's dive in. Let's get down to this stuff. Who's waiting to get onto your board? Kind of cool, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
This is what happens when you do less and you become more. It's something, I've shared it for years and years and years, and it catches people off guard. Yeah, I want to do less, but I got to do more. Why don't you do less and become more? Have more of what you want and less of what you don't. Awesome work. Any other questions or comments or feedback? What are y'all picking up from this? Are you hearing your own messages? Are you hearing some new thoughts for yourself?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ralph.
My name is Eris Williams. I wonder how you just.
Oh, okay. I saw you out of the corner of my eye. Go ahead.
How did you
Go ahead,
elevate
Eris.
your mind
Yeah.
to the level that it's at right now? Because I'm on that journey right now, and I'm trying to elevate my mind.
Okay. So, Eris, you want to elevate your mind.
Yeah.
What would this idea of elevate your mind, elevate it to where?
I just want to become the best man that I can.
Okay. So in this moment, look at your talents, your skills, your capabilities, your capacities in this moment. What talent or skill might be that you right now that you have available to you could you use more of? Sitting where you're at. Could it be the talent of focus? Could it be the talent of awareness? Could it be the skill set of saying thank you? The best way to elevate our mind is to give space for our mind to elevate. And let me explain that. We keep wanting more in. I want to get better. I want to increase my capacity. I want to increase my capability. This part of you that's asking this question, the part of you that says, I want to elevate, I want to get my mind to the highest frequency.
Exactly.
If you've ever seen, do you ever have any dogs?
Yeah. Pit
Do you, ever,
bulls.
do you ever wash the dogs, give them a bath?
I do.
That thing that they want to do when they get wet, what do they want to do? They want to shake, don't they?
Exactly.
And we try to hold them, right? And we try to hold, stop. We tell them stop, and they stop shaking. But you know that feeling. We know that feeling of wanting to shake. That's where you're at right now. That feeling you want to shake.
Mm-hmm.
And is it to shake? Is it to get more water on them? Or is it to get the water off of them? It's to get the water off of them. So I'm going to ask you to mentally figure out, your mind is already at the highest capacity it can be. Listen carefully.
Mm-hmm.
You got to shake some stuff off. You couldn't ask that question if it didn't already exist inside of you, if the answer wasn't already flowing inside of you. What are you going to shake off? What thing do you think you have to do? You really don't have to do. I would encourage you, the way to get
I don't even know.
Yeah. So here's how you start. When we don't know the answer, I'd start with love. So I would start by going through your contact list, social media, Facebook, Instagram, contact list in your phone. And I would go through and I would send out messages saying, hey, listen, I just hope you're having a good day in this crazy time. And just send those out. Now, there's a part of your brain, if your brain is going, why would I do that? That's what's keeping you stuck.
Mm-hmm.
This idea of elevating our mind, of becoming, of awakening and looking like we have no burden on our shoulders. People ask me all the time, how do you just live in this free state? How do you live in this state of joy all the time? I go, I don't know that it's a how. A how needs work. I get pulled into it with every time I open my eyes and every time I take a breath, because this moment right now, this moment, you asking me this question is one of the joyous moments of my life.
For sure.
Well, how could that be? I'm just asking him a question. I don't even know the guy. I mean, I've heard him a couple of times, maybe. This is joyous. To me, this is joy. When somebody asks me a question, I want to elevate my mind. Do you realize what happens if I can help you get that answer? If I help you become aware that you already know the answer? Do you know what happens in this world? There's another soul who just became free. There's another soul who's passing on smiles today. There's another soul who's absolutely living towards and at their full potential. Do you know what that does for the world? Yeah, but one person can't make a difference. Okay, tell that to Mother Teresa. Tell that to Abraham Lincoln. Tell that to George Washington. Tell that to Gandhi. One person can't make a difference. Maybe you're it. Maybe you're that one. See, if we think we're not the one, then we'll never be free.
For sure.
So is it about elevating? So is it about elevating, or is it about going deeper inside and realizing the greatness that exists inside of you, Eris?
I think it's about going deeper inside. Honestly.
So then I would encourage you to take some time today, or whenever you have some time you want to use to build yourself. And I'd ask you to write down 50 things that you've done in your life that are pretty freaking amazing.
For sure.
Drive a car, start a new job, take on a family, deal with the loss of a loved one. get into an accident, get out of an accident, whatever these things were, these moments where life absolutely brought you some significant emotion. Birth of a child, death of a parent, all of these things. What were things that it seemed like at that moment you couldn't get through? Could have been 4 years old. It could have been 5 years old and your tricycle broke and your family didn't have enough money to buy another one. Oh my God, my life is over. Your first
You know what's so
kiss.
crazy?
What's crazy?
Like,
Tell me about it.
I had got hit by a car when I was younger, and the doctor said that I wasn't gonna ever like be able to play football or anything, walk. And I'm walking, running, playing football, doing what I love. But the doctor said that I would never be able to do any of that.
You know why they
It's
call
crazy
doctors?
that you said that.
You know why they call doctors a practice, right? Because they're still trying to figure it out. So look at that. You just came up with that. So let me ask you, when's the last time you thought about the accident and you did something they said you couldn't do? You've done something they said is not going to be possible. When's the last time you actually thought about that? Probably been a while, hadn't it?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't.
Yeah. Funny how that came to me. Because you already knew it. And I already heard it from you.
Yes, sir.
That's how you elevate, is when you can listen to what they're not saying. And I'm like, car accident. Why would I say that to car accident? Okay, I'll say it anyways. I guess that the Holy Spirit's telling me to say car accident. Now look at what it comes out of you. I was in a car accident when I was younger and they said I couldn't walk, couldn't play football. And now look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's
So the
huge.
main thing is to clear the smoke, like for real.
So here's the thing. You're already elevated. You're letting the outside world forget this thing that you said could not be done. One of the most physical things that couldn't be done, walk and play football. You do it without any thought. How did that happen? I would spend some time asking yourself, how did that happen? Was it the love of my parents, my mom, or somebody who pushed me and said, was it you? Was it all you? Who believed in you that that was true? Because somebody didn't believe in it and people are shocked. Think about the people in your life that are shocked that you did what you did. You accomplished something that they said they couldn't do. And you know what? It's kind of like everything else. Well, we knew you could do it. No, you didn't.
Exactly.
You just tried to make my life pretty easy. You just tried to make okay, Eris, if you want to think that, but and around the corners and in the back offices, they'd be going, he ain't gonna walk again. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking he could do, but there ain't no way he's going to walk again. The doctor said he's not going to walk. Oh my God, he's walking again. Oh, look at him. And even in all of that doubt, even in all of that questioning of capability and capacity, you had no doubt. I'd say your mind's already elevated, but what's happened is that life has kind of beat it out of you again. So this idea that you want to get elevated again, it's already inside you again. Hell, you walked when they said you couldn't walk. You played football when they said you couldn't play football.
No doubt. No doubt.
So now the question is what do you want? What are people telling you can't do now that you get to buckle up and go, oh, you just wait. You just wait. You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm putting on my pads. I'm getting in the game. It's go time.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So let me ask you this. Is your vibration, is your mind more elevated than when you ask the question right now?
Honestly, it's really at the same like level that I when I first asked you the question, but I feel like I have to go deeper inside myself. Like for real.
So has your energy changed since you asked the question?
Yeah. Like you brought a smile to my face.
Yeah, I know. I was afraid if I gave you the wrong answer, you were going to come through the screen.
Oh no, man, ain't no like that. Man. I'm a gentle spirit.
I know
bro.
you're this gentle giant, but the part of you that was asking the question, the part of you that was trying to keep me from hearing the question, was the one that resided on your face at the time. Your heart knew it. I knew it. You don't ask a question like that with a scowl on your face like you had.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, listen, I want to get happy. What? There's something wrong with this picture. So who you are spoke so loud. I didn't have to hear your words. I didn't have to see you. That's why I said Ralph, because there's another gentleman on my screen just below you. You could be Ralph's brother, and you have that.
Sure.
You have that kind of Barry White. Yeah. Ooh, it's going to be a good now. And you have that. And so and I'm looking over here and I see this beard. I'm going, did Ralph color his beard? Because this one's a little less. And then you're going, oh, no, this is Eris. I'm like, oh, okay. See, here's the funny thing is that you showed up in my world as somebody who's this absolute joy, this absolute blessing. And I was hearing you with your Ralph vibration.
Yeah.
You follow? If we just sit and watch how life unfolds and tries to translate itself to us.
Yeah, me and Brittany was talking about that just yesterday.
Cool. Brittany. Bunny Brittany, or another Brittany?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
She got a good spirit.
Oh, yes, she does. I'll never say anything to the contrary. Eris, hey, listen, thank you for asking that question, brother.
No, thank you, brother.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate your energy. I appreciate you having the courage to do that. You seem like a pretty, I don't want to say reserved guy, and not a man of little words. You speak when words need to be spoken. And I'm glad
I don't know how you just read that.
Yeah, I'm glad you had that desire to ask that question, because somebody with your history, and I don't know it, but somebody with your background, the things you've been through, you might be even wondering why you asked that question. And if you've asked that question before, that's a good thing. But to ask it in an environment like this, two things make me feel amazing. One, the confidence to say it that you have, and the safety that you have in hope that an answer shows up. Two huge reasons. So I appreciate you for asking that.
No, thank you.
Awesome sauce. And I'd love to hear your progress. Keep me informed on your progress. Keep us informed on your progress, brother. Dikaya, you got a question this morning.
Hi, Sean. Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, I was thinking, and I was like, my question was, how do you help shift someone's focus from you to them? Like someone who's like just very invested in you and almost like dependent on you. And yeah, that's really the question.
So I'll give you a couple of different things. There's two ways this question gets answered. One, as the question asker, and then two, as the one in service. So I'm gonna, as the asker, the way that you can get people to focus back on them, there's a couple of things that popped into my head when you asked that. What are they not focusing on themselves for? The answer or the action? Are they okay? So then how do we give them an answer that lets them take action? In order to get an answer, what typically has to precede the answer?
A question.
So maybe we get better at asking them questions that focus on them.
And I think I have, and maybe I haven't been phrasing the questions right.
So let's look at this forensically. In this moment in time, are they accountable to themselves?
No.
Then with all of my heart and all of my love, the questions weren't the right questions.
Okay.
Right? So let's just look at it forensically. That situation is already dead. We can't change it. Is it a result we want? Then no, we have to go at it completely different.
Okay.
So the question might be is this person older than you or younger than you?
Older.
Older. So, and is this person related to you?
Yes, it's my grandma.
Yeah. So here's a real simple solution to this. Out of their ears and into their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
In the dialogue that you have is into their ears, and they're worried about, because they can only hear from their reality.
Mm-hmm.
They can't hear the solutions, your suggestion, because they've never put those actions in place.
Makes sense.
So the only way that you can get them to hear you is for them to be able to see you, which means you have to go do the actions
Okay.
for yourself.
Okay.
And when you do them for yourself, you can go back and ask questions of how you could get better at doing actions that you're doing, which will require them to engage in the actions actually to give you guidance on them.
Oh, wow. I never thought of it that way. So,
Right? If I'm going to go if I'm going to go bungee jumping, I don't ask people who haven't bungee jumped.
True.
But if I tell you go bungee jump, grandma, go bungee jump, grandma. She's like, no, but it'd be so good for you.
Right. And that's funny that you say that, because I've actually gone skydiving, but I've never actually been like on a plane like before, like in an airport or anything. So I thought that's funny that you said that.
So I've been skydiving. You and I can have a conversation about the training, about the jumping, the rolling, about climbing on, about hooking up, right? Did you go tandem jumping?
Yeah, it was in LA.
Okay, so you went tandem jumping. You can remember with the feeling of put your arms crossed like this and leaning out. 1, 2, and they go out on 2 because they don't want you grabbing nothing on 3. Right? Right? So you and I can have this conversation. But if I tried to describe this to you, you know how long I would talk till I was blue in the face?
Yes.
And you'd be going, oh, that's scary. I don't want to do it. But you and I will both go, I don't know if I'll do it again. I've done it 4 times, but I don't know if I'll do it again. But oh my God, it was so much fun. When it's so much fun.
Right.
So get out of their ears and get into their eyes.
Okay. Okay. That gave me a lot of clarity. Thank you. She said, never will I ever. You know what? I said the same thing, on the car ride there. But
oh yeah, it was, and I was much younger when I did this, and I grew up on a farm in Ohio, and this was like ridiculous. So what do you think got me to go skydive? A pretty girl.
That's funny. And it was actually one of my younger friends, which is like funny because she's the only friend that I have that's younger than me. And I don't know, it's just one of those things where you're like, yeah, I can do it. And then when you start driving up there, you're like, what am I
doing? Right. Have you ever seen the Will Smith, Everything You Want's on the Other Side of Fear? You ever see him talk about skydiving? Yeah, that's a good video.
Yes, it is.
So, but why does that make sense to us? Why does that make sense to somebody who's not skydove or skydived or however you say that, or versus those of us that have?
It's right? The experience.
The way he tells the story.
Right.
And the way he relates it.
Okay.
So is there a way you could relate this love that you have for your grandma and your dialogue? Is there a way you can relate it in a different way that makes sense to her? Can you take this desire that you have for her, this conversation that you're creating for her, and can you turn it into a 1960s conversation?
Yes. And
see if it changes, if it shows up in her ears any different.
Okay, I can do that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Okay.
It makes a lot of sense.
Cool. My daddy said if it makes sense, it'll make dollars.
Thank you, Sean. I really do appreciate it.
Love you, Dekai. Appreciate you.
Love you too, Sean.
Yay. Let's see, who is that? Chairman Stan.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Outstanding, brother.
I just wanted to start off by showing some gratitude and saying thank you for doing these calls. Thank you for everybody that asked questions, because when you guys ask questions, it does help a lot of other people that are kind of scared to ask questions right now or can't raise their hands. Right now, I don't really have a personal question, so I just wanted to ask you a general question.
Sure.
Right now,
we'll make it personal.
You always do. With this coronavirus thing going on right now, I'm personally not scared. I know that I create my own reality, and I know I'm going to be okay, but a lot of people are scared, and some of them are my family members and some of them are friends. So I just wanted to hear your take on this whole situation and how you and your family are doing.
Family's doing amazing. But we say, so prior to this, ever since Mason was a baby and able to comprehend language, whenever I would walk into the house or be in the house because when he was younger, I used to travel an awful lot, and I would say, I love my family. And no matter where they're at in the house, if they heard it, they would echo back, I love my family. So if you could think of a diffuser, now the family that's nervous that you talk about that might be a little bit nervous, are they in the same residence as you?
One of them mainly is my aunts, but yeah, kind of.
Okay. So do you know what it is? This little device called a diffuser where you put essential oils in and you got some water and it puts the smell out into the room, right?
Yeah.
It's a diffuser. So you've got to look at what's the diffuser in your house right now, because that's what's creating the environment. What's the diffuser of energy? Is there music on that you didn't used to be on? Is there television on that didn't used to be on? Is there television on that was always on, but the news is the sound coming through, the vibration coming through of the information has changed? Because that's the only place where people can become fearful, is because of their environment. Your personal reality makes up your personality is made up by your personal reality, or your personality makes up your personal reality. And right now is people's personalities are making up their personal reality. Because if you reside in the same time and space and you're not scared, that's your personality. It's not your personal reality. Your personal reality is the fact that there is shit going on out there. And there are people who are hoarding, or one of the funniest ads. And when I finally get back to that restaurant, I'm going to ask who did that and shake their hand, because this one pizza joint, Kenny's East Coast Pizza here in Plano, sends out a text to people saying, hey, listen, take the pizza home, roll it, have fun with your kids, make your pizza. They're selling 2 pizza doughs and all of the toppings, and you go home and make your own pizza with your kids. But here's the thing that making me laugh. They said, all of this, 2 rolls of pizza, whatever toppings you want, $40. But here's the part that made it real funny. And a roll of TP. Can you imagine how much stress that took away from people? And maybe, just maybe, there was somebody that went and bought that because they needed a roll of toilet paper. So personal reality versus personality, and personality versus personal reality. Which one is making up yours and which one is making up theirs? And then if it's the reality of what's going on, how do we change the diffuser that's going into their life? How do we change what they're starting to hear, feel, smell, experience? Can you just say, I love you more? Can you ask an old story? If it's an aunt, can you ask an old story? Can you tell me a story about mom that most people don't know? Take them back to journeys, right? Because as Michael said, he had people who were not even alive sitting in the room with him, but they were alive. How do we not know they're not alive? They were alive. In his mind, he was asking them questions, having conversation. He was starstruck. They showed up in his room. So why not bring people back to the memory? Why not bring them back to the vibration that is of joy?
Change the oil in the diffuser.
Exactly. Change the way they look at things, and the things they look at change. You ask them a story about, tell me a story where you and mom absolutely, where grandma if you told grandma the story right now, she'd beat both your butts. What did you two sneak off and do one time that nobody knows about? Because we get people paralyzed in a state of panic. That's what panic is being paralyzed. That's all panic is being paralyzed. Paralyzed, I don't have control over what's going on. I don't have control over the sun. Let's see. I'm sure glad it's continuing its process. It's getting lighter out there. I can only imagine it's going to come over a horizon here very soon. But could you imagine if you woke up every morning like they did thousands of years ago when they made the sun god and they freaked out every night it went away. Oh my God, it's going away. Oh my God, it came back. Oh, it came back. Oh my God, it's going away. It came back. Oh, it came. No wonder they would create temples to the sun god. They think they would piss it off every day and it would go behind it. It's like, why does it keep going? And then the other thing that showed up, so did the sun dispel the moon or did the moon dispel the sun? I don't know. So what could you use to change the oil, to change the diffuser? And maybe you can't stop that diffuser. So if you can't stop that diffuser, what do I got to do? I got to get a bigger diffuser. And just increase the volume on what you want, not what you don't want. And listen, nobody ever calmed down. Nobody ever calmed down by telling them, calm down. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. Let me know how it worked out. I can't read it. I don't have my glasses on. I don't know where I put my glasses. Tissalia? Tell me how I say your name. Tisela. Good morning, Tisela.
Yeah. Good morning, Sharon. How are you?
Outstanding.
I am super blessed to be here this morning. I know I missed a couple meetings. I felt really out of place, by the way. But this morning I wanted to bring a topic to you about rejection.
Yes.
I have a 6-year-old daughter, as you know. I've been fighting with all this stuff going on, trying to stay focused, which I feel I've been doing a super awesome job at.
Congratulations.
But right now, my 6-year-old daughter is going through rejection with her dad.
Okay.
And it's sad that I have to say her dad,
Mm-hmm.
but this is what's happening. Me and him is not on the best of terms. And every time we're not on the best of terms, he takes it out on my daughter.
Sure.
He don't see her, he don't obtain his visitation rights, anything. Now, my daughter and her dad has a really close relationship because he was always there. We used to
Sure.
live together. We were high school sweethearts. We went to college together, all that good stuff. It hurts me. I literally sat down and cried yesterday because she's asking for him. She's calling for him. 3 weeks ago, she called him and asked him to come by him. And they made plans, all that good stuff. He never showed up and he never called her. She has her own cell phone, nothing. So for the past 3 weeks, she's been asking me, Mommy, Daddy said he was coming for me, but he never came. Sean, I made a vow to myself that I will not tell my daughter any bad things about her dad. How do I continue to tell her? Or what do I tell her? How do I comfort her?
So, couple of things. One, so let me ask you a couple of questions. Is it okay if I help?
Yes, I'm always open to it.
Is it okay if I make you feel a little bit uncomfortable?
That's fine. Change
Okay.
come with uncomfortability.
Is it okay if I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Yes. So, first of all, this desire that you have, this breaking heart that you have for your daughter, doesn't fix her heart. And let me explain from a physical standpoint. That's your daughter. Your daughter is made up of her DNA, half you, half him. And the longing that she feels, she's 6 years old. And it sounds like she's already may have lived a couple of lifetimes because of the emotions that she's been through. But I'm going to speak to you right now as the mom. And one of the things that happens in this world, it's called quantum mechanics. It's called entanglement, quantum entanglement. Your energy right now that you're experiencing, sitting where you're sitting, regardless of the distance where your daughter is away from you, she could be in the next room. She could be in the next state. She could be at the moon. The energy that you experience, the energy you run through your body, runs through her body. And this is a hard thing to say to a mom, because the last thing a mom ever wants to do is bring any sadness to their children. So I'm going to ask you to find your joy. I'm going to ask you to be aware of your energy. And now I'm going to give you a personal experience, because I can't teach for something. I don't teach theory. Mason was a year old. Our house, he wasn't quite a year old. And our house, that was our dream house. We were on a 5,000 acre lake. We had a little boat dock. We had the pontoon boat. There were only 6 houses on this lake. On our side of the lake, it was literally Shangri-La. My bride bought this house in an afternoon, never walked inside of it. And it was perfect. Oh, the joys, the parties we had, the way we painted Mason's room. We did everything in Mason's room. We hand painted the squares. We painted dinosaurs on his head, on his bathroom door. And it was just this, it was a dream. And 2004 comes along and destroys our house. And we were a little bit frustrated. Insurance didn't pay us for 3 years. But we're homeless. We're not on the street. But our dream home was gone. And so I'm saying this to listen carefully. Michelle and I got a little stressed. Mason started getting earaches. Well, he's a child, he's a baby. Kids get earaches, this, that, and the other. They get infections, they're highly sensitive, blah, blah, blah. And the earaches went on for a year. And it got to the point to where he's 2, and it's almost time they want to go put tubes in the ears. It was that bad. Now, at that time, I was being mentored by Bob Proctor, and I had a couple other amazing mentors in my life. And it was Tuesday, we were supposed to go for the pre-op. Friday, I said to Michelle, it hit me. I was sitting in the truck because we didn't have air conditioning. I was running my business out of my truck. That's where I had power. Right? Cigarette lighter. So I was doing my calls, and it hit me like, I mean, somebody's screaming from the back of the seat, "You're causing this." And I literally looked around, and the voice was that loud. And I sat with my bride. I said, "You know what?" I said, "Is it possible that the stress that you and I are experiencing right now are passing on to him?" And then I remember the story of Greg Braden in his book Beyond Zero Point, where he talks about a study that if I take some of your DNA and put it in a test tube and I put it over here, just physically, right, this far away from me, and they show me movies, I take my DNA and I put it in that test tube, and they show me movies, they show me laughter, Friday the 13th, scary, they show me romance, my DNA change, my body changes. Instantly, it changes here. I'm going to make this story real short. They've taken this recently and they've put in DNA, they've put in electrons, and they've shot them to the moon. And they change them here and they instantly change there. There is no delay in time. It takes us 3 days to get to the moon. That energy changes instantly around the world, the other side of the world, all the way to the moon. So I'm going to encourage you to find your joy. Because right now you're having a double battle with your child. He's frustrated, he's mad, he's sending negative energy, and you're sending despair. But I don't want to do that. I get that. Go ahead. You turned off your mic. Go ahead.
Sean, I mean, I love everyone. You know, despite what we've been through, I'm not mad at him.
So
And
hold
I'm
on.
not
Hang
mad
on. This is a distraction. Hang on. Listen to me. Are you sad or disappointed in this moment?
Yes, I am.
Then that's the energy that's transferring to your daughter. I know you love everybody. Listen, I know you love everybody, but you're not loving the one that's most important. Who's that? And the answer is
I gotta
me.
start with myself.
Yes. And that's where this is. This is the saga of a mom. I will beat myself up and I will continue the beatings till morale improves. I love you. It's okay for you to be whole. It's okay for you to be healthy. It's okay for you to be enjoy. You can be pissed off, you can be mad, but you don't have to be in despair. Because in this room where you sit right now, there is nobody in the room with you. You're having an argument with a thought. And in that argument with the thought, you continue to lose. You are not a loser. You brought to this world, you carried for 9 months, you brought to this world this piece of beautiful joy, this amazing soul who's changing the world. Because let me be very, very clear. There's 63 people on this call. There's 62 people whose heart is absolutely going out for you. Look at the hearts that are showing up here. And to speak to you as a mom, I will never have the honor of being able to do that. The fears that you do, every breath. There were moments where you couldn't sleep at night when they were sleeping because you wanted to make sure they were breathing. There's something a mom can do. A mom has a capability of doing that is superhuman. I'm going to ask you to tap into that superhuman strength for you. Are there any souls that are on this call that are friends of yours?
No. My little cousin invited me to your chats, who is Brianna Freeman, but she is not here this morning.
Okay.
I don't know why. I normally call her before the meeting starts, but
Okay.
you know.
So here's the thing. I would encourage you to reach out, find a way to reach out to somebody on this call. Is Monique. So do you see the name Monique Peters? She's got the word faith on her mouth.
I'm here.
I know you're there, but to Sheila, do you see her, Monique Peters?
Yes, I saw her. She dropped
Okay.
some hearts in the
I'm
comment for me.
I'm gonna ask you to, Monique. I'm calling on you like a big brother. Is it okay if she reaches out to you, if you guys connect?
Absolutely. I'll drop my number in the chat. Anybody
Okay.
can reach out to me.
I know that, and I'm honored that I can call on you like that. But I'm going to ask you, mom to mom, right? Trial to trial, tribulation to tribulation. If there's any moms that can absolutely feel where she's at, Miss Freeman is at right now, please reach out to each other. Because I know I'm good at what I do, but one essence of the way that you can communicate to each other. There's RBP. Why don't I see you anywhere on the screen?
She's hiding.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then show up, because I'm throwing a ringer out there. What would you say to this beautiful woman?
Well, first of all, good morning. And it's interesting you're having this difficulty, because I haven't had it with the father of my little girl. We're still together, and I'm blessed to have the man that I have. There's not very many men like my husband, but I have had family that I don't think they ever meant to, now looking back, give the hurt that they gave. But at the moment, I sounded just like you, because when you hurt my daughter, it cuts me deep. When you love my daughter, it runs deep. So what I've had to do is exactly what Sean has walked you through, which is realize that my emotions affect my daughter. Oops. And the quicker I can get those emotions lined up with better thoughts, the faster my daughter will not experience the pain. But on the same token, disappointment is a great teachable moment. I try to flip everything that goes along in my life, especially my daughter's life, as a teachable moment. And this is a great time. You said she was 6 years old, and she's a smart little booger. She is 6.
Yeah, she is 6 years old. She's like 6, going on 16. She has such an old soul. That's when Sean said that I laughed
Yes.
because she's like she been here a couple generations, definitely.
Yeah. So that's exactly when I was pregnant with my daughter. I would put my hands on my belly, and I would feel like she's an old soul. And your daughter's super intelligent. And sometimes the things that we hurt over, they don't hurt over because they don't have the same life experiences that we have. They have our DNA, but they haven't gone through the same things we have. So they don't know that level of hurt that we feel because they haven't felt it yet. So a lot of the times we will put our emotions and our hurts on them because we're like, well, they should feel like this if this doesn't come through. When in reality, some of this is your daughter's just going, I don't know where dad's at. But you hear, I'm hurt, I miss him, I don't know where dad's at. And some of it is she does. Some of it's not as intense as what we feel because we're feeling from a different way, right, Monique? They're watching our reactions. And you can react or you can respond. And there's a couple of days ago, we went over reaction and response. Reaction is a negative thing. Responding is positive. When you respond, you will bring positivity to you and you will extend positivity to your daughter. But it's also a really good moment to expose yourself to your daughter. And I have said things to my daughter when things like this happen, and I've gone, mom has a hard time sometimes with this because mom's lived through some other things. And I don't know if I can answer your question without thinking about my feelings, but this is what I know. I know that you're loved. I know that when we forgive others, this doesn't stick to us, and it's not our decision except to love them no matter what. And we can be joyful and we can continue to play. And right now, if dad is busy or dad is choosing something else, that means you and I are just going to spend some more time together. And there's no better place than me having you with me. And you go back to joy and you help her learn what we're all on this call trying to learn, which is how to remain in joy. And what you're going to learn is she's going to teach you that. She's going to teach you how you can remain in joy no matter your circumstances. And if you watch this ebb and flow, what's going to happen is from your 6-year-old daughter, you're going to learn how to traverse the valleys and the mountains of life because she's unattached to anything. She has no biases. She's clear. She's clean. Though she feels some disappointment, it's okay. Disappointment's going to happen in life. And the quicker you give her tools how to get past that disappointment with forgiveness and love, think of the adult she'll be when she's your age. Think of how much you're going to catapult her into even faster maturing of her emotions and of her heart and of her thoughts.
And
and in honesty, it will guard her.
All that what
Go
you
ahead.
said is like you were speaking directly to me because this is exactly where it's coming from. Like, I don't want her to go through the things that I go through. So when she comes to with my dad, because I went through basically the same thing. The only thing, my dad left and I ran out of time because God took him. So I don't want her to, so when she comes to me, I don't know how to respond like, Danica, everything is going to be all right, because I immediately is thinking of myself, or, my thoughts is flowing in my head and I break down. I shut down. I start crying. And I don't like her to see me like that, so.
Well,
I'm
now
soaking
hang
it all
on.
in. I'm soaking it all in.
It's okay if your daughter sees strong, loving mother here. That teaches her that when something is bothering you and needs to come out, it's okay for that to come out. We think that's a bad thing. But what I would like you to do is what's been hard for me, and it's gotten a lot easier lately, is allow her to teach you. Allow her, with her limited experience, to teach you what a different way of thinking will look like and feel like. Because all you have is the experiences that you've had. But here's what's beautiful. Tashella, if she has your DNA, you have her DNA. And if you can change her DNA with your thoughts and feelings, she can change yours with her thoughts and her feelings. So allow that to be reciprocated back from her and pick up new DNA from her innocence, her ability to love no matter how many times she's let down or disappointed. That's what we're called to do anyway, is to lay down those frustrations, not pick those up. They're hard. They're super hard. I have been let down by very close family members. And it's not until here recently that I've learned, if and when they say anything to my daughter, or they don't show up for her, or things aren't what I think they should be or what I was given as a child, that it's okay, because it doesn't take her happiness, because she never knew that anyway. And she chooses to move forward. Yes, she might go, well, so-and-so didn't come. No.
And there's the enemy. You back?
It cuts me off, doesn't he?
Yep.
Hey, I
I
want
don't
to say
know.
something
Is my
about that
signal
too.
still weak?
Go ahead, Eris.
Like sometimes it's probably just on him, man, and about you. Like for real, he just ain't stepping up to the plate. So you just gotta handle your business, and you gotta be comfort. Like you gotta comfort your daughter, like on some real stuff. Cause my father went around, and I'm not in your daughter's shoes, but at the same time, you gotta comfort your daughter. You gotta be there for your daughter, and just move on from him. If you want to still play around and bullshit, I mean, shit, you can't make no little boy be no man. So, shit, you gotta move on, for that's for real.
And that's the neat thing about community.
You know, I
respect that.
can I say something to that? Is my signal any better?
Yeah, your signal's better.
I will go outside if I have to. I get what you are saying. I get what you are saying. And I haven't had y'all's experiences. So chalk that up first. But this is what I know. There are all kinds of blessings attached to grace and mercy. And grace and mercy are getting what we don't deserve and not getting what we do deserve. And none of us are perfect. And some of us are closer to it than others. And some of us are closer to less perfect than others. And I get that. There's one thing I know about children, they're blessings. No matter what, they're blessings. Because they give us a perspective that's fresh and new, untainted, and willing. They're like little puppies in the room. Every time you walk in the room, they're just happy to see you. Every time they get a piece of candy, they're just happy to get it. And they're given to us to teach us. But oftentimes we flip it and we think they're given to us for us to teach them. But in their true essence, they're pure, they're loving, they're kind. They just want to play and smile and laugh a lot. And that's everything that we're searching for. We are pulled off course by a paycheck. And when we lay the money aside, if we had the laughter and the love and the joy, and we made money off of laughter and joy, which you can. That's what everybody's striving for. Yes, I agree. Some people, we could give them the phrase deadbeat. But here's the deal. That daddy of your daughter has his DNA. And she has the potential of changing his DNA. The more you pray for that man, the more he has the opportunity to change, and your daughter's DNA changes positively as well. This is a hard concept, and by no means do I think what I'm saying is easy to do. It's not, but that's why you're on this call and he's not, because God knows you're up for this, and he knows you have that ability in you right now. And as a mama, my heart goes out to you. I don't know what it's like to not have a man or a husband support my child. I don't know what that's like, and I get it. But I know here you found a plethora of mamas to support you and encourage you and send you love, and the men on this call will send you love. What I'm saying is, don't get mixed up in the he's bad, he ain't gonna handle his business. Get mixed up in the she's my blessing, I love her, she's amazing, I'm gonna learn from my daughter, and she's gonna change this world, and her life is meant for something amazing. And when you take that perspective, like Sean says, your reticular activating system will look for how she will do that, and you will find it, and you'll find the joy in her and your surroundings. I hope this is coming off right. If not, Sean, you're gonna have to translate for me. But Tashella,
You speak in volumes. Continue. It's coming off correct, sweetie. I'm here.
Okay, because now your voice sounds so much better. You sound uplifted and confident. Because sister, you got everything you need. You don't have to have anything from anybody. That precious baby girl can walk up to you right now and lay hands on you. And if you pay attention to her hands and the energy coming from it, she will vibrate at a high level, and it will be full of joy and kindness and compassion and grace and mercy. And she doesn't even know what those words mean. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to understand what it is you're doing. It does not have to make sense by society's standards. Society would tell you, kick his butt to the curb and don't ever talk to him. You know what? That's your daughter's DNA. That's a human being. He has value. He might be creating frustration in your life, but you can choose to pick up the frustration, or you can choose to see the shortcomings and pick up a prayer for him. And when you pray for someone to rise up to what God has created them to be, the vibration around you changes, and they will rise to that eventually. They just will. And as far as your father, you know, God took him because he saw his struggle and he knew he couldn't handle this world anymore. And that's okay, because he's in a better place and he's out of the grips of frustration, anxiety, and depression. And because of that, your DNA won't vibrate there. God said, you know what? Tashella needs a break in her DNA. I'm going to give her a rest, and I'm going to give her a baby, and I'm going to help her get her DNA to a different level, because I created her for mighty things. And I came to give her life more abundantly, not a halfway life. Do this for your child also. Sit in her presence. I sit and watch my daughter play with Littlest Pet Shop because I was a little down. And I just soaked in her energy. And I watched her love and call out family members that haven't always been there for her as much as I would want to see them there. And she called out her little character names by those names. She loves them no matter what. She loves them no matter what. You love her no matter what. She loves you no matter what. Take that abundant love and live there. Live in that joy. When this sadness comes, yes, it is. Thank you, Diane, golly, I didn't even think about this. I am being a peacemaker right now. Ugh, okay, thank you, God. Got one under my belt, kind of. When the sadness comes, you can choose to pick it up or you can choose to find joy. If you pick up sadness, your daughter's going to pick up sadness. If you pick up frustration, your daughter's going to pick up frustration. It's that easy. And that is what helps me make a complete 180 in the other direction. Because I think if I get pissed off right now, my daughter's going to have that frustration and anxiety sitting on her head. Ain't going to happen. As a mama bear, there's one thing that will keep me focused on joy. And it's that little 8-year-old girl back there cuddled up in her blankets. If I pick up anything other than joy, she gets it. If I pick up joy, she remains in joy, and she hops and she skips around and she bounces on her trampoline and she jumps up and down standing in front of me asking for more chocolate. And there's nothing that makes my heart happier than that right there.
Rhonda,
So-
I love you. I love you so much. Like, you don't even know you just gained another family member today because
Come
I
on,
love you.
girl.
Like,
I
your
need it.
words is as pure. Like, this is what I needed. I needed to remind her. I needed to hear it. You know, like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I feel that when you said the energy that I have bounces onto her, because sometimes I'm aggravated, but I'm smiling and she's like, "Mommy, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Mommy just got a lot on her mind." And she looks at me, and the look that she gives me, my daughter has these big bull eyes. And when you look at her, the look she gave me was like, "Yeah, right, Mommy. I know what's really going on." And she'd go like, "Okay, Mommy, I'm gonna go in the room now." And the guilt, girl, I'm like, "Oh, this child knows everything that's going on with me. Like, I can't hide anything for her." And it's just like what you said. They feed off your energy.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? She is here to call you out, because I said to you that God came to give life and life more abundantly, and you ain't seeing it. So God goes, well, let me kick her an amazing, beautiful blessing. She'll get this blessing. Maybe she'll see it and hear it through her. So your little daughter comes in and does what mine does to me, except mine at 8, she gets the head nod and the finger, and she's like, "Mama, you need to change your energy." I'm like, oh my gosh. And she'll just straight up ask me, "Are you choosing joy?" Because I taught her, "Amelia, are you choosing joy?" is what I will tell her. And they will mirror what you do. And your little girl is coming in and she is checking you. And she is making you realize, don't be lying about it. Don't be saying one thing and doing another.
Her
And
thing
step
is,
into your
Mommy
joy.
God is watching.
Oh, see.
Mommy God is, man, when she tells me that, I pull so fast into my corner and humble myself like, you all right.
Amen.
He is watching.
So you see, her perspective is totally different. She doesn't sit in that hurt. And if she does, she might sit there for a minute and then she goes and gets her toys and plays. So that's a lesson to all of us. It's a huge lesson. So pick yourself up, dust yourself off, go play, go choose joy and find what makes you happy. And if you struggle, that's why Sean tells us at the beginning of all these phone calls, send out messages of love and gratitude, because what you send out comes back to you. And if you're struggling, there's days where I struggle. I don't know how many messages I send out. Like, I'll sit for 30 minutes just sending messages. But here you have in your home this amazing little girl who comes running back to you, checks you, loves you, and then goes on about her business playing happily. What a beautiful example. And I love that your energy's changed. I love that you've welcomed me into your heart, because let me tell you right now, it was just a few years ago that I didn't want to have anything to do with women. And women didn't want anything to do with me. And it's just, stop laughing, Sean. And it's just changed. And to hear you welcome me in makes my heart soar. So thank you for letting me speak this into you. Thank you for for teaching me again. I need to make sure I keep my spirit in check and hear my daughter better. And I would love to hear how this changes your thoughts and your perspective and what you get back from your daughter. I love y'all. Y'all are so amazing. Tashella, I hope you feel my love for you.
I definitely do, Rhonda. Trust me, I do. Like, I'm over here cheesing so hard. My cheeks are hurting me from when I started the call. I was like crying and just like, don't know, like, should I sit down? Should I stand up? Should I take a walk? Like, what do I do? And now I'm just sitting here and I'm smiling and I'm just like, man, she is speaking volumes right now in my ear. And I'm loving it because it's the truth and it's real, you know, and it's coming from another mom. So it's no fabrication, it's authenticity right here that you just spoke into my ears. And I'm going to take it up, I'm going to process it, and I'm going to use that.
Amen.
Well,
I love you, girl.
I love you too, Rhonda.
So Tashila, I would encourage you today to remind your daughter, to let your daughter know how much she changed the lives of so many people today, and thank her for that. Thank her for all of us, because that might be something that's missing in language, is thanking her for her wisdom. We thank them for being cute. We thank them for being quiet. We thank them for going to sleep. We thank them for eating their breakfast. But thank her for giving you a moment to bring souls together this morning. She just commanded the attention of a lot of hearts this morning. She ain't even on the call.
I was just gonna say, I have to get her on one of these calls for y'all. She is such an awesome child. I mean, when she gets up in the morning, she changed me, hands down. Like Rhonda said, God gave me that child for a reason. I was one of those kids. But she changed me, and I never was the church going, I was always in the streets. And for some reason, Sean, my daughter, you could ask her Psalms 23 out the Bible, and she'll tell you from the beginning to the end. And it to this day, I'm freaked out. I mean, she's a blessing. Thank you again. Thank you guys again. I can't stop thanking you, and I love you guys.
So last little thing I want your subconscious to know is please thank yourself. Because otherwise you get into mama mode again going, oh, look at what they did for me. No, look what you did for you. I need you to hear that, because this is a moment where you changed your life. You simply asked a question. You used the courage inside of you. You used the joy inside of you, because this joy existed. This didn't come from us. Didn't come from Rhonda. Didn't come from me. Didn't come from any of the chats or the phone numbers. This all came through you. And like Eris asked earlier, how do I elevate my mind? All we did was shake off some old stories and your joy showed up. We got you to start looking at what your true attraction is and not the distraction. You did all of this. You listened. You could have hung up. You listened. You did all of this. And this, I once heard it said, I think somebody said it in the Bible, right? Even the least amongst you can do this and more. You did this. You brought this out in us. This was you. This was your daughter. So please do not forget that. Don't look outside. Know that this came from the inside, and we just weren't going to pay attention to the outside story because we don't know it. We really don't care about it because we wanted to hear the inside story. Does that make sense? Okay. Laura, you got your hand up.
Hi.
Hello.
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I hope that she's still on the call because I needed to talk to her. I hope
I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. I love the call. I love that Rhonda and Monique got to talk to her from the dad's standpoint. So right now, I want to talk to you from
You're cutting in a little bit out, but let's keep going.
Okay. Because me, this is part of the point. Okay. Hear me better?
Sounds like it.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna make it short before you know who cuts us off. So when Sean was telling his story about Mason how he when I was 5, I think, yeah. So I was little. I was having a lot of medical issues. When I tell you a lot, is like I was about to die. Okay, it was that serious, and my parents were actually in the middle of a divorce. Things were not good, so of course my environment was not good at all. So it was making me sicker and sicker. So it wasn't until, and I'm telling you the story for a reason, it wasn't until my parents understood that they needed to find joy and they needed to work on themselves that I started to get better. And this is why I believe, since I've been little, in energy, since how I believe that when you change your energy, you could literally do so many things, and those things translate to miracles. Okay, I want you to know, I'm 24 years old. This is when when I was little. This all happened when I was little. But I kid you not that I remember not the going to the hospitals and living pretty much like 2 years of my life in a hospital. I don't remember that. I can only tell you that because my parents tell me that story all the time. But what I do remember is when I was healing. And I remember when they took me to the homeopathic doctors, and I remember the face when I was healing. I remember my parents' happiness. I remember how I brought happiness to them. And I do not remember a single moment when I was crying, when everything was wrong. I do not remember that. So I just felt the need to tell you that when Sean says, find your joy and love, because this is what I heard when Sean was saying that, and love, because the only thing that you could do is love her and you, it could truly, truly, truly have a tremendous positive impact into your daughter's now and into your daughter's future. So I needed to tell you that from my standpoint, because that is probably one of the biggest impacts that I've had in my life. And the fact that my mom and my dad talked so I guess so deep about what they went through during that time, and the fact that they understood that their energy was affecting me negatively and it was affecting me positively when they were changing that, is something that means everything to me. So I don't know, I just felt like I needed to share that, because when you were sharing, Sean, it was just touching me a lot, and when Rhonda was talking, it triggered those memories. So I just wanted to share that. I hope that helps, if that helps at all.
Awesome,
Thank you
Laura.
so
Thank you.
much.
Well, there you go, folks. Funny how the good stuff comes like with dessert towards the end. Sheila, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for bringing your daughter to us. Thank you for bringing us all the chance to grow, to remember what's important for all of us. Arius, thank you for bringing your energy. Michael, thank you for bringing yours. Everybody, thank you for bringing yours. And Stan and just the recognition, because this is my ultimate joy, is to be able to, I mean, think about it. If you were to put yourself in my shoes, to have somebody who comes on in pain, be able to give them some guidance and then say, but I am not the one to be able to give you your solution. And then to step back and watch you all take care of each other. That, I think, is a pretty darn good community. It just gives me a tremendous joy.
It really is. And I thank you for just allowing me to be on this call with y'all. And it's a beautiful people on here.
Isn't it awesome? It's just awesome. It's crazy. Takai, I see your hand went up, my love.
Okay, so I don't know. I was just having a moment, and I kind of reflected back on when you said things come to fruition like not in the way that we expected. And I was like thinking, right? And I was like, I thought about like my Instagram. I've been uploading IGTV. So I started a Forex February last month. And then this month I just made something up on spot, and it was like making it up March or something like that. And then when I really thought about it, I was like, in my notes a while ago, I like planned out the months to have themes. And I was actually planning to do makeup, not actually work on like me. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I don't know how that like came to be. I thought it was, I don't know. I just really wanted to share that. And I was like, wow, who knew I wasn't gonna be, painting on my face, and rather than, lifting my spirits, I guess.
If we pay attention to what we pay attention to, we'll wind up paying attention to what we need to pay attention to.
Very true. Wow. I don't know. That was just weird to me.
That's awesome. Well, there you go, folks. I wish you the best of Mondays. I wish you the best of all. And best of all, I hope you wish yourself a good day. I love you tons. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all send some love to each other.
Love y'all. Have a great day.
Love you guys. Have an awesome day.
Love you, my Misfit family. Everyone have a blessed and joyous day.
Love you, Ralph.
Love you too, Rhonda.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.
This is